My name is Michael Bradford, and I would like to welcome you all to ICR's 38th Annual Spiritual Conference. And before we get started, I would just like to say a few words about ICR and the work that we do. ICR is a registered nonprofit Canadian charity, and many of us at ICR go back all the way to the mid-1970s when we came to know of the theories and writings of Gopi Krishna. And after reading some of his books, and for those of us who were fortunate enough to attend a week-long series of discourses on Kundalini that he gave in Kashmir in August of 1977, we decided that we wanted to devote all of our spare time and energy to promoting his message. So what was it about this message that was so important that after what is now 45 years, we're still doing our best to promote it? Well, to put it quite simply, Gopi Krishna was trying to present to the world a radically new understanding of spiritual transformation. It is, he said, a new faculty of perception, slowly but steadily evolving in the human brain, which is as advanced from and as distinct from normal human consciousness with our powerful intellect as normal human consciousness is from instinctive animal consciousness. Now, in normal human consciousness, we perceive reality as a physical construct of gargantuan proportions, which is separate from us and which we apprehend with our five senses and interpret with our highly evolved, powerful intellect. And in fact, this is what science believes to be the primary reality. But if we turn to the Indian spiritual tradition, which goes back at least 3,500 years, we find that the adepts of that time came to the conclusion, after a long period of inner exploration, they came to the conclusion from direct perception that it is actually consciousness and not physical matter, which is the primary reality. Now, as Arthur Avalon so succinctly put it in his seminal work, The Serpent Power, and I quote from the second paragraph of chapter 2, he said, quote, "The ultimate or irreducible reality is spirit in the sense of pure consciousness, from out of which, as and by its power or Shakti, mind and matter proceed. So behind this unimaginably vast physical creation, there is an infinite, all-knowing, all-powerful consciousness. Now, within each and every one of us, there is a spark of this same consciousness, but it has been veiled from its infinite stature by its own power of Maya Shakti, in order that we may have finite experience. Now, from this spark is projected first mind, then the senses, and then physical matter. Now, this process is somewhat analogous to the way in which a movie projector throws images of light onto a white screen. Now, it is our mind which gives these flickering, insubstantial patterns of light a semblance of reality. And I don't know about you, but when I saw that Tyrannosaurus Rex chasing the Jeep with Jeff Goldblum in the back in the first Jurassic Park movie, it seemed really, really real to me. In the same way, it is our mind which gives a much more definite and comprehensive sense of reality to this projection from within us. But when this new faculty of perception, which Gopi Krishna talked about, which we would name higher consciousness or enlightenment, when this new faculty is fully formed and operative in the human brain, it gives us the ability to directly apprehend this infinite consciousness behind the physical creation, at least as far as our limited human brains will allow. He also said that the great mystics and sages of the past and the founders of the major faiths of mankind were in fact individuals in whom this new faculty of perception was more or less fully formed. And he also said that the edicts that they left behind for how we should live our life, which are common to all faiths, edicts such as the 10 Commandments of Christianity, the Noble Eightfold Path of Buddhism, these were in fact guidelines as to how we should live our life in order to facilitate this process of biological transformation in a healthy and expeditious way. Now, he also said that this process is governed by strict natural laws, laws which we have no understanding or knowledge of whatsoever at present. And it is our ignorance of these laws and our violation of them through immoderate behavior that is the root cause, and I repeat, the root cause of virtually all the societal ills of mankind. I'm talking about ills like war, revolutions, terrorism, crime, interpersonal abuse of all kinds, substance abuse and addiction, and many forms of mental illness. These are all, he said, symptoms of obstructed evolution. And he also said that if we do not soon clear these obstructions, then humanity will almost certainly destroy itself through its out of control technology. And this would either be in the form of nuclear, chemical, or biological weapons of mass destruction, or as we are seeing in the news every day these days, through the destruction of the very ecosystem which gives us life. Now, Gopi Krishna's message was actually one of hope. And he said that if this transformation in the brain can be verified by science, and we remove, as a consequence, we remove these obstructions to our evolution, then he said this new faculty of perception will eventually become a feature of every member of the human race. When that happens, he said, it will open up aspects of creation that we have no knowledge of right now. And it will usher in a new era of humanity that is glorious beyond anything we can even begin to remotely conceive of at present. Now, the theme for this year's conference is Kundalini consciousness and our evolution to enlightenment. And I hope that as you listen to the presentations today, that they give you a better understanding of the critical importance that lifestyle plays, and in particular, service to mankind in both our own spiritual transformation and the well-being and survival of the human race. I will now turn the meeting over to Patrick Hain, our conference host for today, who will introduce our first speaker.
Just as a little further background, you listen to Michael there, and Michael has some really interesting history with Gopi Krishna. Not everybody here would maybe be aware that Michael was in India helping Gopi Krishna for 6 years as a volunteer, which meant that they were, working closely together. And a lot of Michael's dedication started even way back in the 70s when that was going on. Michael has what I would call a scholarly understanding of Gopi Krishna's writings and about Kundalini. Pretty hard to trip him up. He did write a book it's available through Amazon. The book is called Consciousness, A New Paradigm. And again, it's scholarly. It's not something that you would read in a half an hour while sitting on the back porch or anything like that. It's very thought-provoking. So I can honestly recommend it.